Hello, everybody. I have been away this weekend, but just literally yesterday, it's a Monday, just literally yesterday. So on a Sunday, Busby, that Texas attorney that's suing Diddy for like 120 different clients or whatever, he has now filed his second round of lawsuits against Diddy. Now, we did go over the lawsuits last week, the first round. There was 6 of them, but then only 5 of them were public at the time that I went over them. I did end up getting my hands on that 6th one. That was the one that was pertaining to the band photo shoot. And this was a young woman who claims that she was about 19 years old at the time of the incident. She had been invited along with some of her other college classmates to a Diddy after party having to do with this photo shoot for the band. Okay. Like I said, just yesterday, Busby has filed yet another round of these lawsuits. So I thought we should go over those together. Now, as you might have picked up from the title and the thumbnail, this is just a TLDR. What do you need to know from these lawsuits? So this one, I'm not going to go into every single little tiny detail. I'm just giving y'all the overview. Okay. Now, the first one has to do with a Ciroc party in Los Angeles. This one was allegedly co-hosted by Diddy and the liquor brand Ciroc. This is a John Doe, so a male plaintiff. He says that the party was co-hosted by Ciroc and Diddy. And the first, 15 pages or so is like exactly the same verbatim as the other lawsuits. So I'm not going to go through all of those, but eventually they do get to the factual allegations of this lawsuit. What is being factually alleged is the plaintiff is a businessman from LA. He claims he was assaulted by Diddy at a Ciroc party. He claims that he was personally invited by Diddy to this party. And he claims that he specialized, now this is from 2022. These incidents allegedly happened in 2022. This plaintiff alleges that he specialized in, quote, luxury car rentals, okay? Now, this reminds me of Big Joe, who also is now renting luxury cars. I mean, I'm not saying this is Big Joe. What I am saying is it does seem like these types of businesses are coming up a lot right now. So this man said he was a person who would rent out luxury cars and also luxury fine jewelry. And according to this lawsuit, this man, he says, this plaintiff, it's John Doe, we don't know who it is, but he says that Diddy would rent cars and jewelry for himself and his entourage from this particular plaintiff. He claims that Diddy invited him to the party. And then once he got there, Diddy invited him to his private office. Once in the private office, Diddy started acting a damn fool, dropped his pants, exposed himself to this plaintiff. This is allegedly, according to the lawsuit. I mean, I don't have any evidence for this. I certainly wasn't there. I'm just telling y'all what they say in the lawsuit. Now, not only did Diddy allegedly drop his pants and expose his you know what, but he grabbed, according to this lawsuit, plaintiff's private area and roughly, was rough, or whatever. This particular plaintiff, he took a picture of the Ciroc bottle that he was offered a drink from, and he is suing for assault and battery. Now, he claims that Diddy was just, roughly, grabbing him all roughly. And at that moment, unnamed athlete A, quote, intervened. So this unnamed athlete walks into the room where this alleged assault is occurring, and it kind of distracted Diddy or whatever. And he, the plaintiff got to go away. So that's the first of the 5 lawsuits that we're going to be looking at. The second one also happens in the year 2022. So just 2 years ago. And this one was at an after party relating to an awards show. So there was a 2022 awards show, and then there's an after party hosted by Diddy, and that's where the allegations of this particular suit take place. Now, this plaintiff is suing for being rugged and, quote, repeatedly assaulted. This also happened at a party hosted by Combs, allegedly. And again, this is another John Doe. This is a male accuser. Now, this person states that they are a personal trainer in Hollywood, a celebrity or a high profile, personal trainer. Now, he claims he was invited to this party because one of his clients had shown a video of his personal training to Diddy. So he gets invited to the party. Now, he claims a black Lincoln Navigator had picked him up. And this plaintiff says that there were two requirements that he had to meet before going into the party. The first requirement was that he had to sign an NDA, that he would not talk about going to the party. The other requirement was that he had to drink this drink that was offered to him as a condition of him going into the party. Okay. So he said this drink looked just like a typical tequila and soda with cranberry juice mixer, and he went ahead and drank the drink. He said he entered, and when he entered, he saw one of his current training clients, and she's a model in Hollywood or whatever. And he said that made him feel a little more at ease. There were other celebrities there. And then at some point, he was lured into a large room illuminated by red lights. Now, once he was in this red lit up room, he was led into an even smaller room where he claims he saw approximately a dozen people, including celebrities, doing group S activities. He said around this point, he started feeling very disoriented, dizzy, and he felt trapped in his own body. He could not move. He could not fight back. And about this point, that is when allegedly, according to this lawsuit, that's when Diddy began assaulting this plaintiff with using Diddy's mouth, according to the allegations in this lawsuit. Okay. And the guy again is saying that he's dizzy, weak, disoriented. Now, after that happened, after Diddy assaulted him, allegedly, according to this lawsuit, I was not there. He was then ordered to do the same thing Diddy had just done to him. He was ordered to do it to somebody else, unnamed celebrity A. Okay, so this is the second lawsuit where we're getting unnamed celebrity, right? Unnamed athlete A in the first one, who walked in and intervened on the scene, and that's what caused Diddy to stop, allegedly. Now we're getting unnamed celebrity A, but this celebrity is participating, according to this lawsuit. Plaintiff says he could not resist because he was rugged with GHB. Now, this lawsuit's nasty. It said that the celebrity finished what he was doing on the man or whatever, and then he spit into the man's mouth, into the plaintiff's mouth. The plaintiff goes on to say he essentially was passed around by the celebrities for their enjoyment that night. And at some point, he completely blacked out and lost consciousness. He said he woke up back at his apartment, unsure how he got back there. He didn't have his shirt on. His phone was, strewn about. So, of course, he's suing. All right. Now, the third lawsuit of the Busby, the round two we just got yesterday filed. This one deals with a 13-year-old girl. Not 13 at the time. So this girl, she said this happened. Again, female, Jane Doe. We don't know who it is. We don't know who it is. She said she really wanted to go to the VMAs. Now, this is back when they were still, I guess, taking place in New York, because eventually they moved to Vegas. So she got one of her friends to drop her off at the VMAs, the Radio City Music Hall thing. And she's basically just trying to get into the VMAs, trying to get to an after party, trying to mingle with the famous people. She's 13 years old. She said she met Diddy's limo driver, and the limo driver said, "Oh, yeah, you got the look." Something about you got the look, and Diddy likes younger girls. So he said, "I don't have tickets for the VMAs, but you should come to the after party. Meet me back here like 9:30 or 10:30 or whatever the time was." Now, importantly, as Rabbit Down the Rabbit Hole News has pointed out, this was around the time that Diddy was dating J-Lo. Okay, 2000, remember? So the lawsuit goes on to say that the girl, 13 years old, she's pulled up to a white house in New York with a U-shaped driveway, and two men asked her to sign an NDA before she went into the party. Now, two things stand out to me here. She's 13, so I don't really know if that's even, contractually 13-year-olds, like really anything they sign is voidable. You know what I mean? The other thing that stands out is now this is the second of the 5 lawsuits that we're hearing. Somebody had to sign an NDA before even going into the party. If true. I don't know if this is true. I wasn't there. This is back in 2000. I really don't know. I was like 9 or 10. I was like 10 years old or something. So once she's inside the party, she signs the NDA. She signs the NDA. She goes inside the party. She accepted a drink. She said pretty soon afterwards, she felt woozy and lightheaded. And that is whenever she went into an empty room. She let herself into an empty room, and she said she did not lock the door. Some while after she went into that room, Diddy and 2 other people came in the room, a male celebrity and a female celebrity. Now, according to this lawsuit, that's when Diddy grabs the plaintiff, who's feeling woozy and lightheaded and laying down because she don't feel good, 13 years old. Diddy apparently grabbed this little girl with a crazed look in his eye, according to this lawsuit, and says something along the lines of, quote, "You are ready to party." Then, according to this plaintiff, who was 13 years old at the time, Celebrity A, Celebrity B, which was a male and a female celebrity, and Diddy took turns assaulting this plaintiff while the other two would watch. So, first it was like Diddy, then it would be the male celebrity. And then while they were, that was going on, the other two would just be sitting there watching. Now, this is also another interesting tidbit here because it looks a little different than the other lawsuits so far. This plaintiff said Diddy then tried to continue to get her to do more things, with him, to him, having to do with, her mouth. And she says she resisted by hitting Diddy. She hit him, according to her, in the back of the neck. And that actually made him stop. So I guess she wasn't too, it does seem like this substance has different effects on different people. And it does seem like it kind of comes in waves. So I guess there was a moment of clarity and she was able to kind of hit at him. And then he stopped. Then she says she gathered up her clothes and escaped the house, but before she ever put her clothes on. She was like 13 years old, had no clothes on, and she's outside. And all I keep thinking about is Nova, little 13-year-old Nova sitting there just sick. Anyway, so she escapes the house. She puts her clothes on finally once she gets outside. She walks down to a local gas station and she used the phone there, calls her dad, she's 13 years old, to come pick her up, and he does do that. Now she's suing. The fourth lawsuit has to do with yet another Manhattan house party that Diddy was having. This one was another Jane Doe, who was a 29-year-old musician at the time. This one also happened around 2022 or so. I can put the date up here on the screen. So she's 29-year-old independent music artist. She's invited to a party along with other musician friends. So she goes there with other musicians who are her friends. She said she saw a lot of substances, including COKE, including the one that grows in a plant out the ground that's been legalized a lot of places. And she said she was pressured to consume these substances, but she repeatedly declined, according to her. She said she did drink one single glass of wine. And afterwards, Diddy invited her, allegedly, according to this lawsuit, into his office to discuss her music career, and he wanted to have her on a track or something. That's when she says she became increasingly disoriented and Diddy assaulted her. She doesn't actually remember much, but she does say she remembers waking up about 6 o'clock in the morning in Diddy's office. She was bleeding from certain area down there, and she had bruising on her lips. Now, this part was really, really interesting. She claims that she had, quote, deep imprints on her arms and wrists, indicating that she had been tied with ropes. She couldn't find her clothes or her phone. So she put on somebody else's clothes and their slides and their flip-flops or something, and she escaped out of there. And then the last lawsuit sounds alarmingly similar to that one, but this one occurred in Las Vegas. Okay, that's where the VMAs eventually did move to. Remember that? Now, in this version of the story, this was a plaintiff who had gone on a trip to Vegas and she was staying in a hotel with her friends. It seems like it's like girlfriends. She went to Vegas on a girl trip or whatever. Now, she knew this guy from Instagram who was a party promoter called International Smooth. And she said, now this is back in like 2014, I think this happened. She said he promoted a party to her. And he was allegedly, apparently, according to this lawsuit, this guy was a Diddy party promoter. Now, he apparently invited her to a party, but he said that it was actually just kind of an exclusive celebrity party. So her other two little friends that she went to Vegas with could not come. But International Smooth said she could come. At this point, her friends were like, no, you should go meet people, whatever. Like, we can go out the rest of the times we're here. If you can go to the celebrity party, you should go. So she does. She said at the party, she met many celebrities, including Mary J. Blige, Lil' Kim, and Nicki Minaj. She says she was invited to an after party at Planet Hollywood. Now, this is 2014, and the first thing that comes to my mind is, was Britney Spears still doing her residency at Planet Hollywood in 2014? I'm pretty sure she was. I don't know. I didn't look it up. It's just my notes. I'm reading my notes. And there is a picture in this lawsuit that has, some of these pictures, they have people's face blurred out and some of them don't. I would never say that this was Taylor Swift because, girl, I really don't know what her hair looked like, what she looked like. This could be anybody, but I'm just saying the resemblance is uncanny on this one right here. So anyway, at this Vegas after party at Planet Hollywood, which is certainly intricately connected to Britney Spears' conservatorship, and not only that, the owner and founder of Planet Hollywood is also the owner and founder of the company that owns Beast Burger with Mr. Beast. So you remember the other day we were talking about, who could possibly have an incentive to be sending Fiona to better understand my past, like a little freaking intelligence agent? who has ties with these people? Well, I mean, it could be the Planet Hollywood people. I mean, we really don't know. At this point, I don't think there's a single person in Hollywood with power I haven't pissed off, so who knows? Anyway, according to this last lawsuit, the lady says Diddy directed her to drink from the Ciroc bottle. She said like 40 minutes after that, she was dizzy and nauseated. And she too, just like the little 13-year-old girl at the other party, she wanted to go lay down for a minute and just kind of shake it off. So that's when International Smooth, who had invited her to the party and said her two friends couldn't come, that's when International Smooth told her to go lay down in this empty bedroom. And he said the door would be locked. He said, don't worry about nobody bothering you or anything. The door's going to be locked. She goes in there and goes to sleep. Next thing she knows, she's waking up in Vegas. She says she's groggy and sore. Her whole entire body hurt, and it was difficult to move. Now, this reminds me of that other lawsuit we just read or we just talked about, where the lady woke up sore, bleeding, lip busted, imprints on her wrist, couldn't figure out because she maybe had been tied up with ropes. So this lady said, this is a different city. This is Vegas. She said she also woke up the next day. She didn't remember anything, but she woke up groggy and sore. Now, this is also reminiscent of the Lil Rod lawsuit, where he would say he would just wake up without remembering anything, but he was in the bed with a bunch of people, wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Maybe Kesha knew more than we knew. You know that's what you get for waking up and thinking. That song came out 2 months after Britney's conservatorship started. Just interesting to find out. So this lady in Vegas, she wakes up, I think this is about 2014. She wakes up the next day groggy and sore, entire body is hurting, and she can't even move. But she saw Diddy in the corner, shirtless, and he's screaming and hollering at somebody on the phone. So she said there's nobody else in the room, but it was clear that someone had been in the bed with her very recently. And she's like, maybe it was Diddy, maybe it wasn't, I really don't know. But she was scared. So she just laid there still and quiet until Diddy left the room. Once he left the room, she gets up to leave, and that's when she realizes she's actually naked. And the soreness was isolated mostly to her private area. Now, Diddy did leave. She gets up, finds her stuff, including her dead phone, and she left. She finally gets back to her two friends in the Rio hotel she was staying in. Remember, she came there with her two friends. She finally gets back to the friends, and she told them everything about what happened. She said the next 2 days, she basically just spent asleep. She was sleeping, pretty much sleeping it off for 2 straight days. Her friends, they tried to wake her up. They tried to talk to her and stuff, but she was pretty much largely just incoherent. Again, she claims she does not remember anything from what had happened after she went and laid down in that room, but she woke up sore and Diddy was screaming and hollering in the corner of the room. So there were more details, there were more pictures, there was more of all of that. But since these lawsuits are being filed in such a fashion where it's chunks, I wanted to make sure that we do talk about the groups of lawsuits as they come out, just to make sure we have everything. I've also started a spreadsheet of the Busby law complaints and the lawsuits that are filed so that we will have a sense of how many got filed in each round. It's not complete yet because I did just start it this morning. I'm going to need to reinsert the part 1, but make sure that you are subscribed to this channel and your notifications are on, because I do plan on doing these little roundup videos just to make sure that we do get a little bit of action on each and every lawsuit so we don't miss anything huge or major. I am going to be discussing the Dog the Bounty Hunter RICO lawsuit that's shaken the true crime community to its core, and I have a feeling I might have a little bit of a different opinion than some of the other opinions that y'all have seen so far. So make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure you didn't get inadvertently unsubscribed, and I have a lot of new stuff coming for y'all this week, including that. That's all I really had for right now. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation, and neither is reporting on lawsuits, girl. I don't know. I wasn't there. Love you, mean. Okay, bye.
Welcome into my world. You're playing my game. Thought that you could come up and they're fitting off of my knee. Talking out the side of your neck like you're insane. Cortisol levels to the roof. Inflame. Kids these days so shameless. Selling out real friends for a paycheck. Mama didn't teach them no home training. Wanna be me so bad, but they failing. Step to the plate though. I'll take a challenger. I ain't scared of no low life scavenger. I should warn you though, if you haven't heard, I ain't no Colleen ukulele ballanger. Shots been fired. Run and tell that. Say it to my face though. Now behind my back. Won't be long till you share it in a group chat. And when I call you up, you're gonna backtrack. And you should've kept my name out your mouth. As we go, how